What's going on, y'all, man? It's LA Rich and we back with another video, man. And look, today we got the one and the only Charlie Kirk back on the channel again with him doing a video titled Charlie Kirk Destroys Socialist Professor. Now this actually looks like a pretty older guy, so I'm really excited to see what this whole debate is going to be about. But before we get into the video, what I want to say is thank y'all so much for helping me hit 13.5 thousand subscribers. We're on road to 13.6 now. I thank y'all so much for all the love and support y'all show me every single day. It truly means the most to me. Enough of the talking though. Let's get into the vid.
Socialism worked. Where has socialism worked?
You pay your income tax?
Income tax is not socialist.
It's not?
No. Well, I think it's way too high, isn't it?
Yeah, but socialism is where everybody pays in.
Why don't you, do you give more money than your income tax every year to the government?
What?
Do you give more than what the government asks you to give each year?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
A lot.
You give more to the government?
Yeah.
So you give more than what the IRS asks you to give?
Yeah.
You do?
Uh-huh.
So you think that, do you trust the government?
I don't take all the deductions that I'm entitled to.
Do you trust the government?
For what? Of course I do.
You do?
Yeah.
You trust the government that recklessly audits people they disagree with and runs inefficiently and has huge bureaucracies of nothingness?
I'm a retired federal employee, so I used to work for the government.
Which
He
agent?
said he gives more than what he's owed back. That is crazy, man.
Department of Agriculture.
Okay. So do you think there's any waste in the food stamp allotment in the Department of Agriculture?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so you do think government is wasteful?
Well, we have to do something. We're not perfect.
Well, that's a horrible argument to spend trillions of dollars having to do something, isn't it? You just admitted you worked for the Department of Agriculture, which oversees the distribution of food stamps, right?
Well,
And you had
actually, what I did was
part of what the Department of Agriculture does is
payroll.
you did payroll for the Department of Agriculture?
Well, for most of the government.
Okay.
We wrote 700,000 paychecks twice a month.
So did you know of any government employees that were not very good at their job?
I know a lot.
Did they get fired?
No, they hired contractors to do their work.
So, but did the government employees get fired
What? Some of them did.
for not doing their job?
Yeah.
I find that very hard to believe.
We had a lot of people that get fired.
It's very hard under civil service protection to lose your job in a government bureaucracy. Very difficult.
If you go to MSPB, you'll see that they have 90% approval rate for dismissing people.
Do you think government is too big?
Yeah.
Okay, then you and I are in agreement. We agree that there's inefficiency, and so that's our whole argument.
I'm saying socialism is what our government's about.
No, it's not.
It's not.
Part of the worst parts of it might be, but I reject those parts of government.
What parts? Income tax, welfare?
Yeah, that would be a good start. Food stamps are too much. Housing, urban development, Department of Education.
What about Social Security?
I don't think young people should be forced into paying something we're not going to see. Social Security annualized growth rates are lackluster at best.
Yeah.
The government takes 7% of our generation's earnings to subsidize older Americans.
Have you seen the homeless problem?
That's
Have you seen people that cannot
Sure.
work for a living, that have mental problems, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think there should be a safety net, but not a hammock. I think you'd agree with that. Define what you mean by socialism, though, because I think we might be.
Take where everybody pays in together. Where everybody pays in for the common good.
For the common good. So.
Yeah. This university here, how many people could go to school here if it wasn't for the government paying for it? Nobody could pay for an education.
Sure, there's private institutions that exist. Sure, there are.
Yeah, but how do they work?
Quite well.
Because of donations. They work on socialism also.
So if your example of socialism is college tuition that rises every year, that is run widely inefficient, administrators that are unchecked, professors that should be fired, then you and I have the same definition of socialism, which is something that doesn't work. So here's the whole thing is I think government is far too big. It's gone outside of its constitutional intent and authority, and market-based solutions are far better for the well-being of its citizens than government bureaucracies are.
Yeah, but there are some things that have to be paid
Of course,
for.
no, I agree with that. Police, firefighters.
Police.
But wouldn't you agree it's better on a localized level than a nationalized level?
What? Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we agree. So localize more government programs, don't federalize them.
But you still have to have government, even if it's at the local level.
Sure, I'm not an anarchist, and that's not socialism.
Okay, but my point was that nobody here could go to school if they had to pay for all the costs.
They do pay for it in tax. Somebody pays for it somewhere, whether it be taxes or the endowment or donations or tuition.
The alumni. You know who actually pays for school here?
The taxpayers mostly.
The sports program.
Well, and taxpayers. It is a publicly funded school, I would imagine, right? I mean, it's a state school.
I have a friend who was admitted to the graduate school, got a full ride scholarship for 2 years as a graduate student. Study animation.
Okay.
So she wasn't paying a dime.
But somebody paid for it.
Yeah.
At some point. Nothing is free. Somebody's paying for it.
It's like he's kind of going in a loophole because he just admitted that locally, it should be funded as far as from, taxpayers and everything, us citizens. We should be paying for certain things, especially locally as well. And he just admitted to that, but then to go and say that after it's kind of like contradicting itself.
But somebody paid for it.
Yeah.
At some point. Nothing is free. Somebody's paying for something at some point of the transaction.
Right. If they had money, it was socialism that somebody paid for it. A lot of people paid for it.
So I don't support that. I don't support other people being able to live on the well-being of the forced extraction of wealth from others. I believe for the paying of basic services, such as police and fire, roads and bridges on the most localized level possible, as well as the national military. Do I believe in the Department of Education? No. Department of Labor? No.
That's all socialism.
That's why I don't support it.
What, you don't believe we should...
It's like he's confused. I don't think he understands that Charlie Kirk is against socialism in certain circumstances, in certain ways. It's almost like he's arguing that Charlie Kirk supports it, but in reality, he's the one that supports it in all these ways. The professor is the one that supports it in all these other ways. He's confused, man. He's just confused.
Labor? No.
That's all socialism.
That's why I don't support it.
What, you don't believe that we should have roads? We should have private roads and people pay for them as they use them?
No, I believe as localized as you possibly can be. The Department of Transportation is a mess. It's widely inefficient. Doesn't work well at all. Yeah, so I mean, you're making my argument for me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like he's arguing for Charlie. Like I don't get it, man.
We still have to have socialism, even if it isn't.
Okay, so your example is social. So socialism is the government run of social utilities, essentially. The government use or the government monopolization of social utilities. And the worst parts of our society, such as the Veterans Administration, which runs horribly, is a socialist program. I mean, or whether it be our disaster public schools are a socialist institution. So that sucks.
Yeah, public schools really suck.
Yeah, and those are quasi-socialist government institutions.
Yeah, but they're poorly run.
They're poorly run because they're government run. So, for example, do you think Catholic schools or government schools run better? Do you think Catholic schools or government schools run better?
I think Catholic schools are much better.
I agree. So that's a private institution.
But that's because people contribute to the church, and the church gives the money out. And
the price per pupil to educate a student in a Catholic education in the state of Louisiana is about $8,900 a year. For the public education system is about $14,000 per year. Yet the Catholic education is a much higher quality, much more likelihood to go to college, much more likelihood to stay out of gangs, whereas the public education is the exact opposite.
But what you're confusing is qualified, capable public administrators who are pretty much elected by how much money they spend, as opposed
to... I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, that's my critique.
As opposed to people who are dedicated to their job.
Right, that's why we need more private institutions, such as Catholic schools. So we're in agreement here that the most dysfunctioning parts of our society are based in government control and the misallocation of resources.
Yeah, by the fact that we have really incompetent administrators.
But administrators will always be incompetent because they're run in an
exactly. What he's basically I can tell he's about to say this. It's run in a way where it's almost like that they don't have to worry about anything because they know they're not going to lose their job. You get what I'm saying? Once that pressure is basically off of you, where you're not worried at all about the consequences or repercussions you can face from not doing your job as the best as you can, or not caring about making just things better. They just don't care. They literally don't.
But administrators will always be incompetent because they're run in an incentive structure that does not require competence for them to keep their job.
Exactly.
That's why markets work. Because the incentive structure is for good ideas to continue, and the lack thereof will be the termination of their services, or people will stop going there.
So what happens to the people who are incompetent, who can't do a job, who can't work? Should they be thrown out the street?
No, they should be taken care of by churches and community members and individuals. No, that's voluntarism. There's a difference between socialism and voluntarism. Giving money to the church is not socialism. A synagogue helping poor people is not socialism. A mosque doing a food shelter, that's voluntary charitable transaction. Socialism is the involuntary extraction of wealth to fund social utilities.
But anyway, these charities are run by groups who accept contributions.
Individuals, though. Individuals that are all voluntary. Socialism is involuntary.
Right. It's the people that are running those charities and everything, they are voluntarily doing it. So you can't really put socialism and that together, because it's just a person going out, one person, a citizen at that, going out and saying, hey, I want to help this cause, or I want to do this to just help out this certain thing, whatever it is. That's not the same as money being extracted from you that you literally can't even tell what it's going towards. You get what I'm saying? And it's not, oh, I want to do this. But it's voluntary when it's the other way around. Hey, this was honestly, I just feel like this guy was more so confused going up there. The professor. Let's see what the comments are saying. If this guy is a professor, God help our kids. Now I only understand why Charlie Kirk once said professors with PhDs won't debate him. This professor looks so creepy to me. I'm not sure what's wrong with him, but there's certainly something wrong. This man is teaching our youth. Help us. Let's see. This dude teaches people. Let that sink in. Now I know why college has gotten so bad. They'll hire any moron to teach. Hey man, thank y'all so much for coming to the video. Y'all make sure to let me know some more Charlie Kirk videos to watch, and I got y'all with it, man. And thank y'all for helping me hit 13.5 thousand subscribers. We're on to 13.6 now. I appreciate y'all so much for the love and support y'all show me every single day. It truly means the most to me. Nonetheless, that's gonna go ahead and close out the video. Y'all make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And it's LA Rich, and I'm getting up out of here, man. All right, y'all.
I just got the race, I boost it up, and I'm not real. Shooter ready, go, they ready, blaze, they hit up everyone. Every time I did a give a shit, I still ain't number one. And my pockets filled with money, bitch, like fucking